It's pretty wild to think about. How does a story that's 2,000 years old become one of the most influential narratives ever? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the core story of Jesus. We'll look at the key moments and the central claims that, according to the text, have this incredible power to change a person's life. This question, it really gets to the heart of where this whole story kicks off, doesn't it? The narrative starts by painting a picture it's super relatable. It's a world where people feel just burdened, weighed down by fear, by shame, and they're looking for answers. And that feeling, right there, that's the central problem the story is trying to solve. So the stage is set, right? You've got a world that's just full of struggle, kind of holding its breath, waiting for some kind of hope, and it's into that world that the story introduces its central character.
And here he is, the man who carried hope. Now, the narrative doesn't just present Jesus as some figure from a history book. No, he's shown as the living, breathing embodiment of hope. He's someone whose words and actions are specifically designed to go right up against all that despair in the world.
And what's so striking in this story is who he actually hangs out with. It's not the powerful people, not the ones who have it all together. Nope. He seeks out the outcasts. You've got fishermen who feel like they're going nowhere, tax collectors that everyone hated, women carrying so much guilt, the broken and the hurting. The story makes a huge point that he consistently looks right past their mistakes and sees who they could be. That's a core theme of his whole mission.
And get this, he doesn't just meet them. He gives them a direct call to action. Come follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. For a fisherman, that's not just a career change, right? According to the story, this invitation was so powerful, so compelling, that it just awakened something deep inside them. It gave them a brand new purpose, and they literally dropped everything to follow him.
So, okay, how does this transformation even happen? How do you go from casting nets to changing the world? The narrative shows us it's really a 1-2 punch. It's a combination of his incredible actions and his really powerful words. When you boil it all down, the story is describing this really profound exchange. It's like people come to him with all their fear and they leave with peace. They bring their shame, and in return, they get forgiveness. This whole internal switch, from emptiness to purpose, from darkness to light, that's the absolute central promise of his message. And the story backs up this interchange with these huge, dramatic physical events, the miracles. The sick were healed, the blind could suddenly see. But here's the key. In the narrative, these aren't just for show. The healing of a man who was blind or couldn't walk, it was meant to be this powerful, visible sign of the much deeper inner healing that was happening on a spiritual level. And right alongside those incredible works, his words had this immense power. This quote here, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It speaks directly to that feeling we talked about at the start, right? That feeling of being weighed down. And he's not offering a temporary fix, not a band-aid. He's offering rest. For anyone feeling worn out, the story presents this as the ultimate promise of relief. Okay, and this is one of the story's most powerful metaphors. Notice he doesn't just say he brings light. He says he is the light. It's a huge difference. In this whole narrative, light is basically truth and hope. So the promise isn't just a little bit of help. It's a clear path completely out of the darkness of despair. But just as all this hope is building, the story takes a sharp turn, right into its darkest moment. Every great story has a climax, right? And for this one, it is this absolutely dramatic sequence of death and an unbelievable comeback. The cross. And then, the resurrection. Now, let's talk about the cross. Within this story, it's not portrayed as some tragic defeat, not at all. It's presented as the ultimate act of sacrifice. This was the moment, according to the text, where he willingly took on the weight of all of humanity's sin, our failures, our pain, so that he could set us free from it. And this whole sequence of events is just built for maximum dramatic impact. Think about it. First, you have the cross. The sky turns dark and it looks like all hope is just gone. Then, silence for 3 days. And then, the unimaginable. The stone is rolled away. The tomb is empty. In the story, this is the ultimate plot twist. This is the moment where death itself is defeated and hope comes roaring back to life. In this declaration, I am the resurrection and the life.
This is the absolute peak of the entire story. It completely reframes death. It's not the end anymore. It's just a doorway to life. This is what cements the narrative's central promise: ultimate victory. So, what does a 2,000-year-old story about an empty tomb actually mean for us, right here, right now? Well, the final part of the narrative makes the case that this isn't just a history lesson. It's a living, breathing invitation for today. Remember that whole exchange idea we talked about a little while ago? Well, the narrative brings that right into the present. It describes the exact same process. A person today can trade their fear and get peace, trade their shame and get forgiveness, swap that feeling of emptiness for a real sense of purpose. And this promise here, surely I am with you always, this is what holds the entire invitation together. The story wraps up with this powerful idea that Jesus isn't some distant figure in a book. He's a constant presence, right here, right now, to the very end. So really, when you get right down to it, the main takeaway is this. The source material presents this story not as just a historical record, but as a living invitation. From that very first feeling of despair all the way to that final victory, the whole thing is structured as a personal, timeless invitation for anyone to change. And so our explainer ends right where the narrative itself leaves us, with a question. After laying out the problem, introducing the hero, and showing us the incredible climax, the story puts this one final question on the table. Can a broken life be made whole? It's the central claim of the entire narrative, and it's left for each of us to answer for ourselves.